Welcome back to The Middle Ground. I'm your host, Key, and we're reporting live from the Honey Queen Juice Bar. So we have to address this.
Maybe.
We have to address this officially. Kevin Samuels is dead. He's dead.
R.I.P. Rest.
Okay?
Just
and what that means is that there's no more live streams. There's no more propaganda.
Oh.
And there's no more Kevin Samuels. Oh. Now, what does that mean for the culture? Now, first of all, let me go in and say this.
I don't want to say glory to God, but you ain't supposed to do that.
We're not going to disparage Kevin Samuels because we don't have to do that.
His
legacy and what he's been remembered by, I think, speaks for itself. Because they say that you write your eulogy every day that you're alive.
That is very true.
And when
left the mark.
And when I read everything, all the articles that was published when he died, none of them were pleasant. So I'm going to ask you ladies, before I respond, what type of influence did Kevin Samuels' legacy leave on the culture, good or bad? And where do we go from here?
He started off with men and it was not getting him where he needed to be. And when he came to us, baby, he ripped us a new one for just existing. It's sad.
He was a hurt individual. That was a man who literally, you can tell. You could just tell when somebody wasn't loved, bro. You could just tell. Like, his mama, baby, your mama didn't love you like she should have.
Only child syndrome.
Because the way he came for black women, as if we're the only ones that have the problems that he will be talking about. Like, everybody got these problems. All women have these same problems.
You talk to any other culture, you got a problem with Brad over there.
These low-value black women, like, sir, lower your voice, okay? You sound fucking stupid. Like, you sound like you wasn't loved. That's all I get from him every time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, and I'm just going to be quick with this because I will never forget. I watched one of his, or I watched, like, a few, but one that stood out when he was saying how the rating system of women, or whatever, they can't be a 7. Pick your number, right? So I'm like, let me do mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay? In my head, I'm like, I don't know. He probably called me a 9. I don't give a fuck. Because really, it's not really a validation. But then I'm like, wait, no. I forgot you over 30. No, you over 30. So
you're knocking off points.
You're knocking off points. You got kids. Every kid, you knock off 2 points. I said, oh, I'm at a 5 with Kevin Samuels. But I just remembered that, and I was just like, that's crazy because a lot of people lived by his standards. Some people, after his death, this one lady was like, he taught me to be graceful. But you should have read somebody else's book. Why would it take Kevin Samuels
to teach you how to be graceful?
She said be graceful.
That's what she said.
When I think about Kevin Samuels and how he impacted me tremendously, me and my sister would talk. My sister listens to him. She would listen to him on the regular. I said, I like to listen to gain understanding, not to just tear down. So I did hear him hold men accountable at a point. But when he ripped us a new one, I promise you that hit different. I was like, do I need to stop eating? Do I need to get to a certain weight? And I had people tell me, oh, you need to drop the weight or do so. I was like, who are you? Why am I doing it for you?
Yeah, Samuel-like.
It was Samuel-like. And I was like, why are you saying that? My sister's like, he was real. I was like, yeah, but you don't like yourself, sis. I love you, but you don't. So we're not going to go into that. Like, then I stopped and said, not Kevin Samuels, but sometimes, what if somebody want to see the best for you? Maybe your lowest weight is the healthiest version of you that you need to get to. To try to twist it in my brain, but I'm like, these women went on his show and wanted validation so bad. And I was like, if you guys were in your divine feminine and loving on yourself, you wouldn't even be looking to him for anything. But nobody wants to heal those spaces.
It's sad. You rather go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Who, no fucking credentials, but I helped a few people.
Girl, image consultant.
Yeah. Like, you gay as hell, my guy. Okay, let's start there. Okay, let's stop acting like Kevin Samuels was straight,
sitting in the shadows. Look, here's the thing. Here's my thing with Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna keep it 100% with the facts, right? Like the young lady said, let's start from the beginning. Okay, if you go back to Kevin Samuels' videos, right, before he was sitting in the lurches in his suits, pent up, okay, like a DC villain. Okay, he was sitting in his cars. He was making a lot of quality content. It was giving Mr. Rogers. He had his sweater, he had his tie, and his glasses.
He was doing that.
And he was very kind and approachable.
And humble.
Humble. I liked Kevin. Okay? Then he was talking to men.
2 videos
and
later.
he was holding men accountable. He was telling men, hey man, polish yourselves, work on being a better man, get up to 40 to 60 hours a week,
Right.
improve your skill set, become the best version of yourself. His channel wasn't popping. His channel wasn't growing. He wasn't getting those numbers. He was doing this for at least 3 to 4 years, telling men about different colognes, how to be a spicier and a more presentable and a more luxurious type of guy. He wasn't popping. It wasn't until the pandemic, everybody is on lockdown.
Yep.
Researcher.
And it wasn't until he started to criticize and come for black women. And that is our issue. The fact that men like Kevin Samuels and those of his ilk find that it is okay to monetize not only just telling black women constructively, hey, A, B, and C, but doing it in a way that is salacious, in a way that is debasing, in a way that is demeaning, in a way that is disrespectful. And that was our issue with Kevin Samuels. Black women know by and large that some of us need to lose weight. Some of that stuff you would say, black women would even agree with. You hear a lot of black women say, oh, I agree with Kevin Samuels, because even when there was a time, and just to even maintain on, again, the facts, I posted the man on my page. Women came for my neck. Oh my God, how could you ever post him on your page? Why? Because I was listening to him at one point. I was listening to him objectively, and I was actually learning. I was learning how important beauty is to men.
Right. Yeah.
He beat me across the head with that, and I didn't know that, oh my God, if you want to level up, bitch, you gotta spice it up.
Yeah.
Because
I received that information.
Men, you can't be regular. Men respond differently with how you present yourself.
Yeah.
You can test it. A woman can go out just jeans on, just looking casual, okay,
Yeah.
woo. And then you take that same woman and you put her in maybe a nice dress, maybe let her hair down, put her something on. She is going to get a different response from not only just the society at large, but from men.
Yeah.
To the point to where men are going to be more in movement with her, in rhythm with her, and they want to be on her team.
Energy.
Exactly.
That's what it
so
ultimately
that
is.
is something that he did emphasize, and that is something that I can take. But that can be said to women without asking them, how tall are you?
What's your weight?
Dress size? Oh, bitch, you fat. Your big ass about as wide as a linebacker.
Bruh. With all the sound effects.
The whips, sound effects.
And hanging up.
Hanging up, calling women bitches, saying that black women scientifically are less attractive than other women. Are you serious?
Like whole science.
Why did he think that it was advantageous for him to sit up on a panel and demean the looks of the women that everybody's trying to get? Now I understand the weave argument. That's a real argument. That's a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
I do believe that the weaving and the lace fronting,
They look like Brad to dolls and Barbies.
I'm not gonna front. And see, that's what I'm saying when I say I can be balanced.
Yeah.
I can say that those are the two things that I would give black men. The weight and the weave, sisters.
The 2 W's?
We can address those. But once again, we don't have to be talked down to like we're nothing, and we don't have to be reminded by our own men of the things that white society is already telling us every day.
It's like you really not on our team, bruh. That's really what you
But you weren't talking to high value men.
Like,
you were talking to bums. What are you bringing to my table? I'm a black woman. We are the most established and put together.
The smartest?
Yeah,
Like
the most well-educated. So what are you saying? You're not talking. The men, what are you doing? You trying to find the couch to sleep on?
Not to mention,
and you stink.
The other video that came out where Kevin Samuels, because that's another thing, his whole thing was I defend men, I protect men. And sometimes it was to a fault. Because there was that video where the young lady called in and said, he gave the bizarre scenario of, this is why it's not advantageous to date women with children, because the mother will always put the children above the man, supposedly. So he gave this crazy bizarre scenario, but he gave this crazy bizarre scenario that, hey, what if your child,
I heard that video.
You saw that one?
Yeah.
What if the child comes to me and accuse me of sexual assault?
Because it's a lot of brothers doing that to children, unfortunately.
Sorry.
You're an object. Keep it
So
above.
she says, well, I'm gonna believe my child. Kevin says, well, why would you believe your child? Children lie.
Men do too.
So do men.
That's what the sister said. She responded, and what I feel like is an appropriate response. She said, well, men do too. But for him to even create that scenario, to even put that in her mind, like,
that is
oh,
hurt. That's hurt. Didn't something happen to him? I watched one of his interviews. I think he was touched.
So these were some of the things that black women in particular took issue with. Not just that, I in particular just seen how vile and how aggressive he would just get on the phone and already be ready to attack a woman. She can come on there and talk soft. If she's talking soft, he'll tell her that she's being fake. Don't give me that fake ass tone. But no, I'm just talking to you softly. Calling women out their names. There are some women who would get on there and some women would say, oh, I'm a 9, I'm a 10, and this and that. Oh, you ain't no 9. If you a 9, we could just end this. And it's just like,
you don't know me, bruh.
There's a way, because
there's so much more to women, especially black women, than looks. I can hold a conversation with you, baby.
And that's what I'm saying.
He wasn't trying.
You had the attention of the world, Kevin Samuels.
You fumbled.
You had 10 to 20,000 tuning in to you every night. You could have really been a game changer. You could have literally said, brothers, sisters, I want us to see us together, because I used to hear him say that, but the stuff that would follow would be so vile and vicious against black women. I didn't feel empowered as a black woman listening to Kevin Samuels, and that was why I had to stop listening to Kevin Samuels. Because again, unlike most people who just heard the one clip, the average at best, and just wrote him off, I didn't do that. I literally started to listen to his content. And at first I was like, no, I don't see what's the big deal, da, da, da. But it wasn't until I started to really listen, and I was like, and like she said, the sound effects that create violence, basically, like, oh, you say something crazy, I'm gonna whip you. Now, ha ha ha, it's funny and it's this and that.
That's slavery.
But that's also promoting violence against women. Like, it's a joke, but that's really what it is. Yeah. Like, oh, bitch, you said something, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you because you just said some dumb shit.
And we're the ones being killed the most by our black men.
Thank you.
It's not.
That was gonna be my next point.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Going back to how did he benefit and how advantageous was he for the culture? Because we are in the middle of what is called a black femicide, where black women are being killed at astronomical numbers. Unfortunately, by black men, according to there's a movement called black femicide. Now, obviously, I hate to believe that, but just because of proximity, a lot of that is going on. So we don't need men like this putting out this type of content. It's not just that, his type of content inspires, just like the school shooter, inspires other incels and men alike to get out here and have an angry, bitter position towards black women. And you can tell that by the comments. These men are not moving in love like, we love y'all ladies, but just get it together. It's not like we want to hold on to y'all.
No.
But we just want to see y'all do better. It's just like, well, fuck y'all. We're not trying to be with y'all anyway. And we take pleasure in him and seeing him go in on y'all and rip y'all a new one. And that's what made it sick.
All the time.
It made it sick. It made it be some type of sport. And I honestly, it has to be discussed, the women that continuously called in his show every night seeking, like she said, validation, and it really speaks to the low self-esteem in black women.
But how many people off themselves? I thought about that too. I said, you know how many people you could have made have suicidal thoughts because they knew they couldn't measure up? Well, I got 6 babies, so I'm nothing. You don't know where people's head is. The man left me multiple times. I kept getting beat. You don't know what trauma people had to go through. Like,
no, I think the crazy thing
putting out false statistics.
Right. But like it'll be a few things that I'm just like he's so far up his own ass. He not even thinking about the shit he was saying. Like he'll talk about or like say somebody will call. It'll be say a high value woman will call. She makes her own money. Says she has no kids. All this stuff that he
men don't value that.
Yeah, he moves the goalpost.
he acts like, no, I can't get her. Yeah, I can't tear her down. Who's next? Damn, bro, you really could lift this woman up. Or like I will never forget this other interview he had. I don't know if you guys are familiar with I think it's Love and Hip Hop, Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah,
bruh. Fan.
She literally called and said she put herself on the bottom. She's a low value woman too. Like according to him, he didn't call her that. Yeah. According to his standards, she said I only date scammers. I only date niggas with fast money. Everything she said, he's like, what is that? What is that? Then she started describing her looks. Everything changed. This man was like, you can get anybody you want.
Exactly.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Exactly. His value system, and this is what made him dangerous. His value system was based on Eurocentric values.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not Eurocentric, okay? Okay, his statistics were false. Even this whole statistic about 51% of black men are something and childish. And if you look at that statistic that he's quoting, first of all, that's false, because that was taken from a sample group of like 16 to like 20 something, where it's like,
well,
they're children. Between 16 and 21 or 16 and 25, most black men, most people are not married at that age.
This man,
so that's
gave
what I'm
us
saying.
false-ass statistics
Quoting these faulty
them.
statistics, promoting demeaning tropes about black women, okay? Being extremely and unnecessarily harsh on black women when we've already seen, and even he talked about in his original content, that he knew that was not the wave, that he didn't want to go down. But he said that he was like, if I get out here like everybody else start bashing women, I'll blow up. He literally said that. And that's what's so interesting about this entire thing, is that he understood the subtle contempt and hate for black women that society has, and he exploited it. And that's why I continuously have to take it back to the facts. This isn't a personal hate, and everybody was offended because some black women on Twitter seem to have celebrated when he passed. And I would say some of us may just feel indifferent. We may not. We may not.
I'm indifferent. I'm like.
We may not. We're not going to celebrate and throw a party.
Right.
But we're just indifferent because we don't see how he was advocating for the community, for the people, and for progressing the image of black women. He was tearing the image of black women down. If Kevin Samuels was describing us to a person who didn't know us, they would abhor us.
They would never want.
They would never want a black woman, and we don't need that. We don't need any more negative images and negative advertisement and promo against black women. Black women are doing a good job with being entrepreneurs, with expanding themselves, with working on ourselves, working on our mental health, all these different things that black women are doing, taking different forms of office. We got, Ketanji Brown, we have all these different people, Kamala Harris, say what you want, but these people are making their stride.
One of us.
Okay? And showing representation, and you would think that at the very least, if you don't want a black woman, or if you are not proud, that black men would at least just stand in silence and not disparage your women. And that's why Kevin Samuels was bad for the culture, because he did all of those things.
Yeah.